What is up, free enterprise fans, and welcome to another day of fantastic, well, in this case, Magma route awesomeness on Highway to the Threemus Zone. We have a very interesting matchup between starmanrandom and A Stone Dingley. I am one of your co-commentators, Oscar424, and with me is the fantastic Xenocat. Xenocat, how are you today?
I'm doing well. It looks like we have Earthbound names on the Stone Dingley's side.
I've seen that. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, Starman not showing us his names, but we'll see them as we get into the seed, I'm sure. We also got required music, which I'm very excited for.
Right. I can thank the fantastic Restreamer Scala Kitty for not only a great twin harp objective, but of course the hidden rudeness and funness that awaits our runners. But otherwise, those objectives, this is very above groundish. We have rescuing the hostage at Hops, we have unlocking the sewer at the Baron Key, the twin harp, of course, and then everyone's favorite forging with the adamant and legend sword. What are your thoughts on those?
This could either be very jetty with the Baron Key and the twin harp showing up on the overworld or very early in the underground, or we could see those two key items hiding somewhere on the moon or behind some rude Feymarch bosses, so you never really know with key item hunts.
And already in this tournament, Scala has rolled us a demist hunt, and I believe it was the sealed cave, so I wouldn't be surprised if there were some interesting hiding places for these. But this particular matchup is going to be very interesting because they are both not only in the Magma route, but they are both 2-0. So it's going to be really significant for whoever wins this match, especially this determines who goes into what play and match for the tables.
Yeah, the winner of this match will go to a very small play-in where 4 of the 5 runners will be advancing to the table, and the loser will go to the other play-in, which is a much larger pool. Not a huge pool by any means, but a significantly larger pool where only 3 runners will move on to the table.
Yeah, though seeing the names in the Magma route, I think either one they go into is kind of terrifying if you ask me. There's some very well-known names in the Magma route.
For sure. I am so terrified of all the runners who make it out of Magma route.
Quite glad I'm just going to be watching this tournament from the side and kind of seeing the bloodbaths start going. Speaking of start going, though, it looks like we are starting. Let's see who's going to be joining Kane on this journey.
That's a Tella and a Pam, and CPU is in Baron. Tella's a great start early on. That early exit.
Yeah, that's a fantastic thing to see.
And if they can find a decent weapon for Kane, that's going to be some good early damage. Pan is really nice to see on the overworld because it means that you're never worried about double dipping the Sylph Cave. But we'll see if that incentive makes our runners lean away from checking Fabools to see if they can get all of the key items in Fabool in one go, or if they might go for Fabool because they know they won't go there 3 times. At most, they'll only have to visit twice.
Agreed. And plus, seeing CPU in the Bygone spot, although CPU can be a relatively free fight, it can take a very long time, especially in a very high HP spot. So I'm kind of glad to see that right there.
Yeah, the Bygone spot doesn't have too much HP, and we see both of our runners heading straight for the Watery Pass, where we find a Sid waiting for us.
Another pretty good early game character, a huge HP pool, so we've definitely got some protection for Tella.
Yeah. The only character that would be probably more powerful right off the bat would be an Edge, but definitely don't hate to see Sid at this point in the game. Looks like A Stone Dingley is done looting in the Watery Pass. Got an Artemis bow out of that waterfall cave.
Yeah, plus the sirens the single siren that was in there. That's a nice little influx of levels if they need it early on.
Yeah, if they can find some good arrows to go along with that Artemis bow, Sid will be doing some really great damage. And speaking of good arrows, there's some samurai arrows.
Ask and you shall receive on that one. And I saw a flame spear over on Starman Random side, so that's a nice pickup in the midsection of the watery pass.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely get Kane's damage off the ground in this early game, although at this point, I would think Sid is probably the more important person, or party member for damage, and that bandana in the chest on the way up Damsian is definitely going to help with that.
And of course, look who is in Damsian but Best Boy. Now I just have to hope that we find a spoon, because if we find a spoon, chat, I can guarantee you will hear a very happy commentator.
Yep, I believe that's a vanilla Edward, actually. First vanilla we've seen today.
Looks like we're getting a quick check on who the waterfall boss is, and it is a lunar sparkle in the form of Wyvern. So Highvern and Byvern immediately.
Wyvern is always a great boss to see there, because Wyvern can be very annoying and very rude in certain spots. So seeing that Wyvern is out of the way in a place that the runners won't have to go back to is very nice.
Though me being the mean seed roller as well, I agree with Scala Kitty and Shadow Restreamer with the awe. That's ooh. Though speaking of Edward, I heard first Edwards are pretty good, but how about second Edwards?
Second Edwards aren't usually considered that good. A lot of Edward's utility comes from his hide command, which is really useful to keep one person alive, not as useful to keep two people alive in scary fights, and there's only one spoon out there, unfortunately, so second Edward won't be able to take advantage of that spoon flag. But meanwhile, while the Stone Dingley is getting his characters from Mysidia, Starman is diving into Antlion. And we should be finding out who the boss is in this Antlion cave very soon.
Agreed, and as a side note, it looked like joining us with Edward was that Horum, I believe, if the bangs are not lying to me. So we do have at least a white mage.
Yep. A white mage on the overworld is always a good sign. Starman putting that samurai one at Edward, giving Edward at least something to do.
Yeah, I definitely can't fault that play. That's, even though it's not the spoon, Edward with a decent bones arrow set can do some good damage.
Yep. And we have Odin here in the Antlion cave. One shot from Sid will do it, though.
Good day, sir.
And there's our underground access. That's a magma key. So single dip Fabul is very much on the table for both of these runners.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting mad deja vu moments. I was commentating a match yesterday that started with Kane Tella and had the magma key and Antlion. So is the days even randomized, or am I just watching a restream of the restream yesterday?
Well, we see Starman going to find out about that wyvern in the waterfall. Immediately resetting out. Stone Dingley is heading down to the bottom of Antlion to get this magma key from this Odin. And it looks like Starman is going to be heading underground right away. Probably going to maybe check the Feymarch freebie and get all those checks from the pan and talk to Sheila and single dip Fabul.
Good point, because that could be 1, 2, 3, 4 potential key items in a very short time, so I'm not mad at that play from Starman.
Yeah. Combine it with the Fabul defense, it's 5 key items chances for one boss that's pretty easy.
Alright, I forgot about Fabul. Wow. Alright then. I can see our tracker moonblazewolf in chat getting excited. So, Blaze, get ready with your you're clicking all the shinies.
We'll see how many shinies there actually are. But Stone Dingley going up Hobbs to get the objective taken care of and finds Iridia. And unfortunately, ditching Edward.
It looks like they found the Pale Dim. Not the scariest of the lunar bosses, so I would have rather have seen it in a slightly more rude spot, but it's nice to get those lunar sparkles over and done with before you start getting into some really bad areas.
But it looks like no one but Sid can take out that Iridia.
There we are. It looked like Stone Dingley made quick work of that Pale Dim, while starmanrandom is definitely checking out the Feymarch caves and trying to find that monster chest to see if they can do some free looting once they find it.
Yep. Looks like Stone Dingley, after taking care of that objective on Mount Hobbs, is going to be following in Starman's footsteps, heading down to the underground.
And that Lilith Rod pickup is going to be a fairly decent item for a Black Mage in the near future. And so is that ribbon. So, nice finds in the Feymarch.
Yeah. Even that Assassin Dagger might be nice for some agility manipulation later on. And an Elfin Bow? Geez, why not? Why not have all of the good bows?
And Earthhammer? Sure. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. We just need to make sure our Sid has the most options available. How about second Artemis Bow?
I mean, why not just give everybody a set of bow and arrows at this point, even the ones that can't use them?
Yeah. We find illusions and star veils down here in the Feymarch, as well as mute bells. Mute bells are very nice for doing the warlock grind in the Lunar Subterrane, as well as for certain bosses. And it looks like Stone Dingley is skipping right over Feymarch freebie and is going to make a beeline for the pan checks.
Especially since we know that the Feymarch chest unfortunately just has an Artemis Bow and no key arrows. It's a pretty nice Galaxy Brain play on Stone's part.
Yep. And we see these Feymarch bosses. We have a Bahamut at the King spot and a D-Mist sighting in the Queen spot. This Bahamut is going to be pretty free. The Star Veils will not last long enough to bounce all the Mega Nukes, but as long as you life people up and spread out your Star Veils, should be able to get through this.
This is a fairly easy spot. It's going to be fast, so it's going to be taking a little bit longer than normal, especially when it transforms into mist. But otherwise, these aren't the worst of bosses to find here, for sure.
Yeah, we probably won't be seeing a D-Mist attempt at this point in the seed, but...
Though, side note, I don't know about you, but I missed that Sylph item, and we have a Baron key. So there's one objective, or another objective on the table now.
Yep. All we're looking for at this point is either that Twin Harp or both halves of that Forge objective. As well as Zeromus access, of course.
And I think I agree with Sarah. I asked in chat. I was kind of freaking out a little bit on seeing the demist in the Ashura spot, because that is another exact spot that was on the race I commentated yesterday. Scholar, are you messing with me? Is it Groundhog Day? I'm confused.
The Starveils wore off on the first two, but Starman had an Eddie hidden, gets a Starveil up on him, gets all those levels on Eddie, and we'll see what our reward is from this Bahamut fight. Just a package. At this point, we know where Demist is, so Demist can't be hiding behind that package. That's just a character check.
Not just that, it's a character check with a very long set of cutscenes, so unless desperation calls and it just happens to be a really good anchor, I really don't think that village is going to be burning today.
Yeah. It's pretty unlikely that we'll see either of our runners choose to burn Mist. Starman is out of the Feymarch now, going to be heading over to the Sylvan Cave to wake Yang with the pan and get that Baron key. And it looks like our runners are doing the same things just in different orders, as Stone Dingley is taking on this Bahamut fight.
I wonder though if Starman will take that pan and immediately go back to Kabul, because again, those are a good amount of freaky item checks.
I mean, without the Feymarch freebie luring him back down to the underground, I think it makes sense to run straight to Fabul. It's the next logical boss in progression after Antlion, and those free items from Sheila are very tempting.
And plus, I believe Starman only is at 4 characters right now, so they still have quite a few extra characters to check. So they've got a little bit more wiggle room right now. So
yeah, Starman has not done the Mount Hobbs objective yet, and I don't believe has been to Mysidia, so has many more characters available at this point to choose from, but it looks like it's going straight for Fabul.
That's going to be a nice triple check waiting for them there. It looks like Stone Dingley is hoping that they can hold on with that Palom before the next Mega Nuke kicks in.
Yeah, unfortunately took a wipe.
Alright, now that we are back from the past, and we have returned to present day, it looks like we have an Evil Wall, and I'm assuming, based on those blue flames, that Evil Wall died in Baron somewhere. Oh, nope, I was wrong. That was the Fabul defense, so when you want to attack a Fabul, you throw a wall at it.
I mean, makes sense. What is a castle going to do about a wall? And getting a Stardust Rod from the reward. We haven't really seen a Black Mage at this point, other than that Rydia on Hobbs, but that'll be nice for Rydia once Starman picks her up.
Yeah, that's a fantastic stat stick to see. And let's see if we have a lunar staff and a spoon. Chat.
Well,
Starman does have that Eddie.
I mean, that's if you need a reason to keep Eddie around, there's your reason.
We have a Spoony Bard.
That's going to be a huge boost to Starman's damage through the rest of this early game. Also, that's a vanilla spoon. Vanilla Edward, vanilla spoon. Love it.
That is a vanilla that tastes delicious. For those that might not realize, and they just saw Edward's damage jump up to 255, originally the spoon was just, well, a spoon. It wasn't an equipable item, but in this randomizer, the wonderful devs decided to make this spoon useful, and particularly give it to someone that fits the meme in the Spoony Bard. They made it an equipable item for Edward and Edward only, and turns him into a massive murder bard. And it's really fun. Plus, looks like that Edward might be wearing a bandana for strength, and the fact that Spoony Bard Edward is back row glitched, he can just sit in the back and just wallop on everybody. This is a fun kind of seed now.
Yeah, we'll see what Stone Dingley makes of this spoon once he finds that out about this sweet vanilla.
Now I know there was a second Edward. Did Stone Dingley say no to the second Edward, or did they just see the first Edward?
I believe Stone Dingley has ditched both Edwards at this point.
That's going to be
Because we
rough
saw the one in Damsian and the one in Mysidia, which is where Porum was from.
It's definitely a shame that Stone Dingley cannot bring a spoon to a knife fight.
Starman heading into Mysidia after clearing Hobbs, finding his white mage.
And resetting out of that, so it looks like maybe might not want that, not sure.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, with Underground access so early, you don't really need a white mage beyond Tella for a lot of the early and mid game. With the exception of a few bosses.
Yeah, especially once they go through ordeals and get telespells online, you can get by with a few things. The lack of MP is pretty rough for Tella, because Tella is stuck, because storyline, what's a story anyway? Tella's only stuck at 90 MP, and the only thing that's worse than Tella being stuck at 90 MP is not giving Kain any MP, but that's just a personal opinion coming through.
I'd say Tella being stuck at 90 MP is just a little worse, but...
So speaking
and
of
we
ordeals,
see even more vanilla in the Baron Inn. That is Vanilla Yang talking with the Vanilla Baron guards.
is this literally even right now?
Starman taking out the Baron guards with no problem. And we get even more freeness in the Baron Inn with King and Queen Eblon.
And it looks like we have a double dose of Punchy Mage with the boss form, the Karate Man, on the first bridge fight of Mount Ordeals.
And it looks like I missed the character on Ordeals on the way up, but it looks like it was a Cecil. Which Stone Dingley did choose to take over that Rydia.
I mean, I could see just on the count of there was no good summons for Rydia just yet, but I will say on a side note, looking at starmanrandom's item, that was not a vanilla. That was, in fact, a darkness crystal. So the entire map is now open for Starman.
Yeah, Starman at this point has access to pretty much the whole world. The only key items that you can't check are locked by individual items, which is only the key items only lock one check at this point, since he does have that Baron key and that pan already.
It looks like Starman was fighting the two hidden bosses of Free Enterprise, the NPC boss and currently the menu boss, the item bag boss.
Yeah, that inventory fills up quickly, and if you don't manage it well, you're going to end up having to fight that inventory boss. And we see, ooh, an antlion at the back attack.
That could be a little interesting for our runners today.
Yeah, antlion will counter every fight command with a counterattack. And so not attacking with Cecil or Kane at all, just circling up that Sid, trying to get the most damage possible from each fight command. And it looks like those counters don't hurt that much. Meanwhile, Starman, it looks like, is setting up the Baron manip. Maybe thinking about doing a D-Machine grind.
Yeah, if you have a decent party that you like, you have Atella, you have access to the Giant, can't fault that logic right there. And this is a very interesting manip in that it really came out of nowhere because of the can't run flag being on for the group stages here. So originally people wouldn't set up the manipulation outside Baron, they would just go and find their D-Machine hunt on the Giant itself. But since you can't run from those encounters, that can be kind of scary. So through the course of witchcraft, black magic, and any other type of craziness you can think of, they were able to determine that depending on the fights you encounter and on the specific step you are on, you can actually set up finding the D-Machine instantly, which is craziness.
Yeah. Starman will have to go through Mount Ordeals before doing the D-Machine, as Tella does not learn weak until you complete Mount Ordeals, but Stone Dingley has just shown us the reward from, which is the Adamant. And I guess one of the Mylon forms, Mylon decided to move into the little changing room.
Especially since Mylon's with his friends, they wanted to have a nice little private party set up so they could watch the Vanilla Seed. Yeah, can't blame them.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would you stand out on a bridge on the top of a mountain when you could have a nice little private room where you can hang out?
The view's nice and all, but that room's probably got some great acoustics in there.
Yeah. Taking out Mylon before the Ghasts. We'll see if the Ghasts get any punches off. Nope, doesn't look like it.
What's interesting, though, is now that Stone Dingley has a Cecil, the hard part's going to be, well, finding equipment, at least to make Cecil somewhat useful, I guess. With vanilla agility, it kind of forces Stone to, well, use Cecil as an agility anchor unless they swap out later on. But yeah, just bonking people with a stick, not necessarily what I'd call ideal for Cecil.
Yeah, to answer a question in chat, if we have multiple Cecils, which one sets the speed? The Cecil that is in the higher priority slot will be the agility anchor, which goes in order from the middle slot being the highest priority slot, then the top slot, the bottom slot, the top middle, and the bottom middle.
So a lot of times what you'll see is the Cecil that is not in the top priority spot will be the one decked out with all the fantastic weapons and armor, whereas the one in the middle, you might you're more likely to see like a cursed ring, or I can't remember which axe lowers their...
The dwarf axe?
Thank you, the dwarf axe.
Or a drain spear.
Or a drain spear, of course.
Sword. Not sword. A spear. Yeah. Those are the two weapons that will knock Cecil's agility down. You'll also likely see that Anchor Cecil taking a nap for most of the seed. Meanwhile, Starman, climbing up ordeals, gets the news of his Cecil, immediately ditches him.
With that party, I don't blame them, and I'm guessing maybe Iridia. Let's see. Well, yeah, Tella makes a fantastic anchor, especially if you don't necessarily need Tella to start slinging spells left and right. So the Iridia, I'm not really Team Iridia at all. So anytime I see a reason to get rid of her, I usually do. But if she can get some good spells, some good summons, i.e. Bahamut in a nutshell, that shouldn't be too bad to see.
Yeah, Iridia really relies on getting some of those good summons early, or getting a slingshot set up on her, so that you can slingshot her off of a D-Machine grind and get her a whole bunch of XP all at once to get her up to Nuke, because she takes just so much experience to level up. Starman having a very fast karate fight with that, thanks to that spoon word.
Yeah, of course, the only downside to a spoon word is a spoony bard is a very glass cannon, no matter how you look at it. So if you had the option between, let's say, a spoon word or Paladin Cecil, Cecil can take a beating once they're fully equipped. Edward can use the hide command for a reason.
Yeah. The Spoony Bard doesn't get much HP at the levels that you would take a normal party into Zeromus, and will not be surviving any unnerved Big Bangs.
And I believe there was a question or a comment made earlier in the chat where they asked around what level does Edward get about 2,000 HP, which is a pretty safe area to survive an unnerved Big Bang, and that's not going to be until the 60s. At that point, you've already defeated C, especially in this randomizer. You'll see 50s, 40s sometimes, but 60, there's usually a reason, and that reason is usually Alt Gauntlet.
Yep. Stone Dingley has ditched his Cecil for that Yang and the Baron Inn.
So it looks like neither of our runners are dealing with vanilla agility. I can't blame them at all. This is an interesting run to Troya, so we'll maybe do some shopping. Could we see a Tapazot play, or we just go and shop it right now?
I think it's unlikely if either of our runners climb Zot at this point. Looking for a D-Mist, there's no Earth Crystal yet, and they still have Dwarf Castle available to them, as well as Keyless Tower, and that D-Mist in the Feymarch. Which is why they wouldn't climb Zot. I forgot about D-Mist until I started going through the other checks.
No worries, and hopefully they haven't forgotten about D-Mist either.
D-Mist can be easy to forget.
You know, I'm kind of surprised our runners haven't gone to really... How much of Baron have they done? Have they just unlocked it, or have they...
They both unlocked the sewers, but neither of them has ventured into the castle at all. The Baron castle check is a very long check for one key item, and the basement throne is a little bit strong for this party at these levels. So maybe putting it off until after a D-Machine grind.
And it looks like our runners are going to be high-fiving each other in Dwarf Castle, which is a very nice double key item check if they go for those bosses with the warp glitch on and an activated Tella, so we get to potentially see 2 key items pretty soon.
Yeah. Thanks to reusing rooms in the vanilla game, the crystal room that you fight the bosses in Dwarf Castle is the same crystal room that is used for the end of Sealed Cave. So, if you cast Warp after fighting the 2 bosses in Dwarf Castle, it'll take you to that crystal room, and then you can walk right out the door or Warp again, and you'll end up back in the Dwarf Castle throne room.
Though speaking of Dwarf Castle throne room, that was a bouncing sparkle, so this could be rude.
Yeah, I believe at this point we still have Ogopogo, Dialunars, and Plague on the table.
I believe you are correct.
And that's an Oak Broke. This boss is especially punishing without a white mage. Just because of that immediate wave attack that does half of your party's HP. And the punches here are going to hit pretty hard as well.
Yeah, unless Eddie can really carry everybody on his shoulders, this is going to be a tough fight to get through.
But it looks like Eddie carried the party.
Best boy for the win!
Yep. Meanwhile, Stone Dingley has raised his big whale and is heading up to the moon. Probably going to do a character check and a shop check.
It looks like behind... Scott,
we have
on this conversation.
We have all of the waves in Dwarf Castle today.
Though honestly, given this particular spot, I'm glad to see the turtle here and not other areas. It can also be pretty rude elsewhere, but what's definitely not rude is seeing a third Edward, because heck yes.
Yeah, this second spot in Dwarf Castle has much less health than the first spot, so should be through this as soon as this Lit 2 gets off from Rydia.
And sure enough, Kanatsu is already getting ready to become Turtle Soup and is down, so good job to Starman for getting through those and showing us what's behind Dwarf Castle.
Meanwhile, Stone Dingley has shown us sirens available on the moon, and a second Tella, if you want him, sitting on the lunar dais.
Definitely not what Stone Dingley was looking for, but those sirens are going to be pretty beneficial.
Looks like decided to reset out of that Tella. Probably saving him in case his Tella gets too many levels, and we'll make the swap.
Yeah, that was an Avenger sword hanging around Luca's neck, so that Kane is really happy to see that.
For sure, and there's a tower key from the warp glitch.
Our apologies to everybody in chat that is Keyless Tower. That is not going to be happening today.
Yeah. Although with that tower key, I'd be inclined to check both of those tower checks before heading up to the moon.
I'd agree with those.
Machined already, may as well.
It looks like Stone Dingley is setting up the D-Machine grind, while hopefully Starman Random will be a runner of the people and show us what today's job dwarf is doing.
It looks like stocking up on Bakai in the armor shop and is not going to give us our job dwarf.
That is a heel turn of heel turns, everybody.
But it looks like he's resting up and getting ready to take on this Tower of Babel. Well, Stone Dingley looks to be done with the manip and is heading straight for the giant to get this steam machine grind going.
And I know Starman started setting up the manip earlier. I wonder if they realized they hadn't set up their tele and that's why they stopped, or what reason was it that they started it before and haven't done it since?
I mean, I know that they did their manip before ordeals, so maybe decided, you know what, I haven't done ordeals yet. I may as well clear the rest of the blue planet since I've not sure if that the manip goes through boss checks, which it does.
Interesting.
Looks like it's throwing that Avenger on Kane, just making sure that the boss wasn't something that would punish a berserked character. But we have a blue robe at the top of tower.
Chances are this is either going to be a very quick fight or a slightly less quick fight.
That's the less quick fight.
That is very much the less quick fight. We have found our alt gauntlet.
Yeah, this is going to be a very long fight, and these stone men don't take kindly to magic damage. Or rather, they don't take it at all. But this Avenger King should cut through it.
For those that don't know in chat, the Football Gauntlet is one of the boss fights, if you will. It's a series of, I think, 5 fights for enemies local to the football region. Well, in this randomizer, we thought, that's a little bit too easy, especially if you find, say, that gauntlet at, the Ogopogo spot. So what we've enacted is something called the Alt or the Alternate Gauntlet, which instead of taking the same enemies from the football region and putting them anywhere in the randomizer, what we've done is we've taken enemies from the local dungeon and put them into a set of 5 fights for this gauntlet. So it can make it a little bit harder for our runners, especially if it's in a rude spot. But the nice thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, even in areas where you don't normally get XP, if you fight the alt gauntlet there, you do get that XP. And as moonblazewolf says, it's not just an alt gauntlet, it is a locally sourced, non-GMO gauntlet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I believe this is one of the very few places where the alt gauntlet is not worth as much experience as the vanilla boss.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, this spot usually gives 26,000 experience, and each of these fights is giving something around 5,000 or a little less.
Now, in situations like that, is it worth it to maybe do the life glitch, or is it just not worth it at all?
I mean, the life glitch will increase the experience. It's, in my opinion, but at this spot, the fights aren't worth enough experience that it's necessarily worth life glitching.
Makes sense. And a question from chat, does the alt gauntlet mess up the D machine setup? I don't think so either. I'm kind of inclined to agree with Blaze on this one, since it is technically a boss fight, even though it doesn't have the boss bit attached to it.
Yeah, I'm not. And we see a party rock from the top of the tower.
which has the potential to set up everyone's favorite game in the future.
Yeah, definitely very excited to see that. Although that could be a rabbit hole that might give A Stone Dingley a bit more of an advantage once he gets out of this D-Machine grind. Although, if Starman gets a key item from this tower key super cannon check, which apparently Dr. Luge decided to take over the super cannon controls himself today, that would put him at 10 key items, which would greatly speed up that D-Machine grind. And as chat pointing out, Dr. Luge not getting a single line of his lengthy dialogue off today, as that Avenger Kane shuts him up real quick.
Poor Dr. Dialogue had nothing to say. But now we have to wait as Starman Random takes the swag walk away from the destroyed super cannon until we see that key item. So hopefully it's something of value. I always love in the Forge objective done because you don't always see that one completed. So I'm hoping for a Legend Sword. We'll see though.
Well, if we get Forge, we don't get music.
I take back everything I said. I want the Twin Harp.
Yeah, Starman, noting that Starman doesn't have a white mage in chat, but has seen that Porum, has reset out, so still has that Porum available whenever he goes back. Might be wanting to set up a slingshot on that Porum, or might just be seeing how far they can get without Porum. And we get that Twin Harp! So,
Thanks!
Starman is in go mode.
Now the question is, because I don't know exactly how good of gear that Starman has for all of his party members. It looks like they're going to be taking us to the Twin Harp. Well, actually, they could be going to the Earth Crystal too. Nope, we're going Twin Harp.
Walk into music. Makes sense to check this first. This is your objective. Get this taken care of. We'll see if we can get... If Starman decides to open the treasury, or just head straight for the D-Machine at this point and grinds up. Okay.
It looks like we're back, hopefully.
Yep, we're back. Starman is just getting through this Dark Elf cutscene, so we will be quiet as we get to hear our music. And it looks like we're back. Yep. Stone Dingley cleared the two Feymarch bosses, getting a crystal sword from the Queen spot and a full moon from the demist reward. So no extra value in Feymarch. Yep. Meanwhile, Stone Dingley has gotten to the tower, and has picked up that Earth. Either, I think, may have reset out of that Earth Crystal. May have picked up that Earth Crystal and has taken out the Super Cannon Room and will be getting his Twin Harp very shortly as soon as he leaves. Meanwhile, Starman is getting his D-Machine grind set up. Looks like grabbed that Porum from Mysidia and is probably going to be slingshotting her off of this grind to get her some ridiculous levels. That was a fresh Porum. Yeah, Starman reset out of the characters in Mysidia, so went back in and grabbed that Porum. Yes, thank you so much for sticking around, and we're gonna get a reprise of music. Looks like on Stone Dingley's stream. Well, Starman is getting this grind done, and Stone Dingley is giving us more music. I'd like to just give a shout out to my co-commentator Asuka, who's taken over our restreaming for the rest of the stream. And shoutouts to the people working behind the scenes for everything they're doing, and shoutouts to the runners as well. And as our music is wrapped up, I would like to welcome our new commentator for the rest of this race, moonblazewolf, our tracker, who is...
Well, my work is done, so both runners have go mode. Really hooks.
Yep.
All right, so yeah, were you watching while we had that little bit of downtime? Because it's pretty interesting. Starman unfortunately had to restart his grind, and Stone's already done grinding, so, well, he might want to grind a little bit more, so this could be really interesting.
Yeah, this is a really close race. I mean, Starman looks like he's just finished their grind, and Stone Dingley is pretty much done with his grind as well, so it's looking like they're both going to be headed to the Z fight very shortly.
Yeah, it's true. I think the one thing, Stone knows that Sirens are on the moon. I'm pretty sure Starman doesn't know. So if Stone does decide that he wants to get a couple more levels on the way to Z, he probably could do that pretty easily. But yeah, this is going to be really, really tight now.
Yeah. Although I think with Starman getting level 64 on Porum, don't think he's going to need any more levels.
That is true. He is not going to have any issues here whatsoever. But Stone's party's pretty close, so we'll see.
Yeah, this is looking like it's going to be a very close race.
I wonder what Stone is looking for here. Because I'm sure he already knows where a lot of this stuff is. Grabs an elixir. Okay, maybe just a little bit of security here for a low-level fight. I could see that. Yeah, and just in chat, Stone has 10 key items as well now. So, I mean, he needs, like, one Siren if he wants to get, like, probably Porum, you know, another 3 levels or so, which would make it a little bit more secure, I think.
Yeah. Is it at most 1 or 2 Sirens would be all that he would need.
We'll see, though, because Starman needs 0 Sirens, so...
Yeah, Starman is good to go. Has Nuke on that Rydia, has a Porum that will be perfectly fine to survive through this Threemus fight. And a fresh anchor on the moon.
Yep, swap that Tela out. Why not? Although, we don't have a curse string. I don't think anybody found a curse string, actually. Not that I remember seeing, at least.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing a curse string ring either, so... Looks like we'll be using Tela's base agility, although this party should be fast enough that that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, should not be a problem. But yeah, I mean, they're probably only about 15 seconds apart right now. Starman in the lead with the levels, though. Gotta give the edge to them right now, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we see that they're a screen apart on the diving down the lunar subterrane, or 2. This is an extremely close race.
It's been a really good race, too. Both runners played very, very well. Made really good decisions throughout. I think the only stumble we've seen from either runner is that unfortunate wipe that Starman took, which I couldn't tell if he deliberately took that double Mac Giant fight, because I believe that is a Sirenable fight, or if he messed up his manip setup. We commented earlier, we were talking earlier, he did his setup really early, actually before Ordeals, and then did a whole string of boss fights, so it's hard to say what happened there.
Yeah, and it looks like Starman not even taking the safety save. Swag walking all the way down to the Threemus fight.
Well, there's our answer on that front. We'll see how this goes. I know whenever you make a major mistake, like, or not even a mistake, but just like losing progress, because, I mean, just to be clear, like wiping to a bad setup or something for a demist fight, that's totally a thing that happens to a lot of people. I guess if you want to call it a mistake, it would have been having to redo the whole Twin Harp again. I mean, I'm sure that set him back probably a good 5 to 10 minutes when you consider having to set up the manip again. So I know that can put you in a certain mindset. So here's hoping that we don't see any. Here's hoping we see a smooth Z fight. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I do like here that he's taking a few seconds just to like kind of check his gear, make sure that everything's okay. Yeah. You know, instead of just kind of like rushing headlong into it. Stone Dingley clearly wants some more XP here as well, so taking an Octomom fight. This should be a pretty safe fight. I believe this was the ribbon spot, so it should be 200,000 XP. But while he is doing that, Starman's getting going here, and I think, Xenocat, since you've been in the booth the whole time, I think you need to ask the question that's on everyone's mind tonight.
That would be, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? This Zoromus's sprite is randomized because we didn't want to go and move him around. Fixing him into the boss pool seemed a little mean, so when he transforms, we decided, you know, we're going to randomize his sprite because we like randomizing things, and the sprite's done by the wonderful Scala Kitty are just truly amazing. I've loved pretty much every single one of them, and we have Gastonmus.
Okay, do you want to sing or should I sing? Actually, I believe Mechalink is the one who originally did singing the Gastonmus, so I don't want to steal. I don't want to steal Mecha's thunder. But yeah, you can come up with some verses and hum them to yourself, and we will see how this goes. That's a good start, right into the Starvale.
Yeah.
And there goes Stone Dingley. So not too far apart. They're going to be close enough that if Starman stumbles here, Stone Dingley might be able to snatch it away.
Yeah. Pretty good damage on that nuke. 8,500. And has the white queued up on Forum, which should be doing a lot of damage.
I'm loving all of the verses coming out in chat.
Yes, they're so good. Starman keeping Eddie safe from that first big bang and is now going to be zerking up that Spoonword. Letting that Spoonword tear at that Gastonmus.
Yeah, this is looking pretty smooth at this point. The only thing I am concerned about is the lack of healing that Starman has done.
Yeah. That is a little bit concerning. I don't think, but there's the flash. Looks like
there we go.
May have skipped the refill with those reflected spells, and GG's to Starman.
Big GG's indeed for Starman.
Finishing this race.
I'll get the official. Oh, never mind. Asuka did get the
with an
official
time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 35 seconds. And we're joined in the booth by Starman. GG's.
Hey, hello. So who all enjoyed watching me like fumble that D machine and not knowing it for like 30 minutes?
We're still not 100% sure what happened. Do you know where it got
I don't
up?
know. And I tried it a second time, and then I messed it up again. I'm just like, okay, I'll just go for the normal. And I don't have time to go back there.
Okay, yeah, because we weren't sure. You probably don't realize this. We had a pretty significant outage and had to like change restreamers mid-race. So, all of the stuff with you having to redo your D machine grind like basically happened offline. So,
oh, good. I'm happy to hear that because, oh lord.
Yeah, we saw you checking the twin harp, and then it cut, and then you were in your D machine grind, or almost in your D machine grind.
But yeah, it was you really pulled ahead early. Just a lot of really good plays, very efficient. Obviously, you found go mode first, staying on the earth there when really kind of the whole seed opened up to you. Is that something you felt pretty comfortable doing with such an open seed like this in such a big race? Because I mean, 3-0 versus 2-1's a pretty big deal in this tournament.
I'll be honest, my philosophy is, for these group flags, is you usually find go mode on Earth. Like, you rarely need to go up to the moon. And without levels, without like nuke on your mages or white on your mages, and berserks everywhere, taking on moon bosses is a bit of a gamble. So I decided to just stay on the Earth the entire time.
I think that's been serving a lot of people well in this format for sure. So, and it definitely got you there tonight. it was pretty interesting to see you run into that alt gauntlet at the top of tower, and I know I was kind of thinking, well, maybe reset out of this and try the other half of tower first.
No, I wanted to know if there was a key item there. I wanted 10 key items. And then it was a party rock, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, it was not the tower was absolutely not haunted. Turns out the entire Feymarch was haunted. We saw Stone do the demist fight as well, and I believe that was a crystal sword and a full moon.
Yeah, I was not going to take on D-Machine. Not D-Machine, Demist. That's not just is so fast and it hits so hard, and that's just a slog of a fight there.
One other thing I noticed, I'm curious if this was kind of something in your mind. So you ended up having Spoonward right from the very beginning. I know Stone had to wait till after doing Dwarf Castle because he ditched those Edwards kind of early on. Were you kind of secretly hoping for a spoon out of that pan check once you realized that you were going to be able to get all those checks, all those free checks out of the way early, or was it just kind of like lucky that it happened that way?
Mostly lucky, but I was kind of hoping when I got that Magma key that maybe with 3 key item checks it'd be a spoon, and then be some value, and it was. It was just like, oh, great, I like this.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. Zeno, do you have any questions for Starman here?
Not really. I mean, I'm a little curious why you didn't take the fresh Edward from Mysidia to maybe get a slingshot on him as well.
I just wasn't thinking about it at that point. I just wanted to pour him and wanted to get out.
That's fair. It's very hard to think about everything during a race.
Oh, good on you keeping your head straightened after that setback. I know that can be really tough sometimes too. Kind of kept your composure, made sure that you were ready for the Z fight. Didn't have any problem with the Z fight at all, so that was nice. How are you feeling at 3-0 going into that first play-in match?
I'm feeling pretty confident, honestly. I'm hoping to get through and not have to go down to like the second play-in match.
Well, yeah, I know there's an extra ticket in that first one now as well, so that'll be pretty nice. I think we figured out either only 1 or 2 people won't be able to get to the table through that first play-in match. So yeah, really nicely done, getting to 3-0, and you'll have 2 chances to get in either way, but I'm sure you'd probably prefer to get it taken care of with that first one.
But no,
go ahead.
It was a very quick seed. I mean, I would have been done earlier had I not somehow managed to. I don't know what went wrong with my D-Machine, but if that had not happened, it would have been fine. Either way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely happens. So I think definitely take a little bit of time after everything calms down to figure out what went wrong, though, if it went wrong twice, because I'm sure you'll want to have that right for the play-ins.
Oh,
and looks like A Stone Dingley is in medio.
Yeah, he's just about done here as well. It was a really good race. We when it came back up and he had already done his D-Machine grind earlier, you were just finishing up your D-Machine grind kind of when he was going to Twin Harp. We thought it was going to be pretty close, and then we realized your Porum was level 64. So we were like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty good. Stone had to do an extra boss fight on the way to Z, so I think that was pretty much the difference there. But yeah, GG's to Stone finishing up here as well with a time of 1:28.50.
All right, thank you for having me, and I'll get out of the way for him.
Yeah, have a good night. GG's.
See ya.
That was our winner tonight, Starman Random, moving to 3-0 and getting 2 chances to advance out of the Magma Group play-ins to the table round. I just want to take a quick second while we have a moment here before Stone comes in. Just thank Asaka for stepping in, getting the restream back up and running. Xenocat, thank you for doing commentary tonight. And also, thank you to the dearly departed Scala Kitty, whose internet passed away this evening. I'm sure it'll be resuscitated very soon, but thank you to everybody that has been helping out on the back end. And we got 3 more races coming up tonight as well. So this is just race 1 of a full slate of really important races tonight. All of our restreamed races are either elimination matches or they are 2-0 versus 2-0 matches like the one tonight. So very, very important stuff. Definitely check all of those out. And we have Stone Dingley in chat with, or in voice chat with us now. GG's. I'm sure you would have liked to finish first, but you at least have a chance at that second play-in, so you're not out of it yet. What do you think about the seed?
Oh boy! Wow, I feel like I made every check just bass-ackwards. Just getting the reward for, like, that's great for the character, like, after I got rid of them. Oof, the spoon for Eddie, the Avenger for Kane, drop that crystal sword, that Cecil really early. It's like every single time I'm thinking, like, what are the odds that I'm right about to find the thing? And woof, boy, I'm honestly shocked that it was as close as it was. I felt so behind.
Yeah, it was not particularly close until Starman had a problem with his D machine grind and had to redo it, and also had to redo Twin Harp. So that definitely made the race a lot more interesting than it would have been otherwise. But like you said, it just kind of I feel like maybe things just didn't break your way tonight in terms of the luck. Finding that spoon, like you said, finding the crystal sword later, kind of just doing the whole Feymarch in general, because you had kind of like the choice there of, do I do full tower or do I do Feymarch, and you chose the Feymarch. What was your, I'm just kind of curious what your reasoning was behind that, because I can certainly defend both choices, but I want to hear it from you.
Oh, I felt pretty far behind since pretty much minute 20 of the seed. I figured that tower would be the check that Starman would make, and I thought, well, you know, there's 3 checks if you count the extra bonus from Threemus down in Feymarch, and you know what? Like, I did like a little mini D-machine grind early on. I thought, like, if I can take it out and value's there, maybe that'll be the gamble I need to, you know, take the lead. Because, I mean, when you're playing up against, like, a great runner like Starman, sometimes you feel like you gotta gamble to just stay in the game.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a pretty smart gamble, and hearing you say that you felt like you were behind, that makes a lot of sense, and it really is... I thought that was a pretty smart play, actually, you know, knowing that was your mindset, because like you said, you do get that extra check out of D-Mist. It's unfortunate you weren't able to clear that Bahamut fight earlier, because that might have changed your calculus a little bit more. But yeah, that whole Feymarch ended up being haunted, unfortunately, and Tower was where the goods were. So just unfortunate that it didn't really, you know, work out for you on that one.
Well, at least I didn't go and try to full clear the moon first. That would have been even worse.
Well, I mean, we did think there were some really solid plays. The early D-Machine grind was really smooth. Thought it set you up really well. I was actually kind of curious if you were going to go to the moon after doing such an early D-Machine grind, as like a little bit of a, you know, contrarian play or a little bit of a gamble, but only needing 1 key item, I guess at that point, it's just a little bit too much to ask, I would think, for someone who, you know your way around the randomizer, you know how to do all the checks and stuff. Were you considering maybe going to the moon, or was it just kind of like, okay, I prefer to stay on Earth, I want to stay on Earth for as long as I can?
I usually prefer to stay on Earth, but in this case, walking out of my grind, I was thinking, I haven't done Dwarf Castle yet either, and that's going to be a real fast check with these levels. And then I had the thought about gambling down in Feymarch, and so maybe if I had done Dwarf Castle first, or like you said, if I had gotten the Bahamut earlier, maybe I would have just headed straight to the moon, in which case I would have gone to the Ribbon Room and found that rat tail which led to the Adamant. That would have been a completely different seed. But for the most part, considering I had so many checks left in the Underworld, I just thought, stay on Earth for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. You actually did. I think that Twin Harp ended up being hard required, though, because I believe the hook was at the Twin Harp. So unfortunately, there really was only kind of like one path through the seed from everything we could tell. But again, you know, you played really well. Just maybe didn't get the breaks tonight. How are you feeling about the 2-in-1 play-in match that you're going to have to you're going to get to be a part of, I should say, not have to be a part of?
Well, in a way, it's a little less scary, I think, than playing in the first play-in match, because if they're going to take the 4 top runners from that race, That means just a few less top-tier people to have to compete against, but honestly, it's a scary lot of competitors. I'm just hoping that I get slightly better breaks next time around.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that you do as well, because you seem like a really good player and didn't really have any stumbles, just didn't make maybe the right... The luck didn't really break your way tonight, unfortunately. So, but thank you for giving us a good race and allowing us to restream it. Zeno, did you have any questions for Stone Dingley here before we head on out to our next race?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, I am going to go ahead and we'll sign off then. We are going to head on over to Randomania for race 2 of 4 on the evening. It is between... I should know this. I scheduled these. I'm terrible. We are going to watch... Oh, hey, I've been wanting to say this name for a while. Stupid Sexy Flanders versus Chokasura. That is a 1-1 Magma route match. So this is an elimination match in the Magma group. So should be a really good one. Stone, you got a favorite that you're going to be rooting for to get into the 2-1 out of those two?
Well, I feel like I should go with Stupid Sexy Flanders just based on that amazing name.
Well, we'll see what happens. We're going to head on over to Randomania now, and take care, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Enjoy the races. We also have at 8 p.m. Eastern on Free Enterprise, Bahamut X versus Vitasia, and at 9 p.m. on Randomania 2, we have Y2 Sky versus Twisted Flax. So we will head on over there. Yes, please, no spoilers. Make sure that people get a chance to check out the smoldering remnants of this race for themselves, since we did have that restream issue, but we'll be okay, and we will see you all later.